Everyone, this is your history teacher from Welkin National School. Today we are going to learn history from standard 4th. In last lesson, we had already learned about the great deeds of Baji Prabhu and how he helped Shivaji in establishing Swaraj. In this lesson, we see how Shivaji's great deeds carried on and he threatened the Mughals. Now we start the next lesson, that is the discomfiture of Shaista Khan. Shaista Khan's campaign. In spite of repeated efforts in which he left no stone unturned, Adil Shah of Bijapur could not force Shivaji to surrender. Every Sardar of Bijapur who was sent against Shivaji was defeated. Adil Shah at last gave up the fight, made peace with Shivaji and gave recognition to his independent kingdom. Shivaji thus had peace for some time on his southern border. In the meanwhile, constant Mughal attacks from the north had practically ruined Maharashtra. Shivaji therefore turned his attention northwards and carried out raids in the territory of the Mughal emperor. Aurangzeb this enraged Aurangzeb and he sent Shaista Khan, his uncle, to deal with Shivaji and teach him a lesson. Shaista Khan, with a huge army of 75,000 men and hundreds of elephants, camels, and pieces of cannon, marched on Pune. On the way, he captured the towns of Shirwal, Shivapur, Saswat, and finally laid siege to the fort of Purandar. Nothing could stop his advance, but once the Maratha army surrounded him in a mountain pass, the Maratha troops moved very fast on their swift Bhimtari ponies. They also traveled very light. They could traverse the hills and valleys in the shortest possible time on army rations consisting of onions and bajra bread. This type of warfare, perfected by the Marathas, was unknown to Shaista Khan. Tired of the continuous harassment by the Maratha troops, he at last raised the siege of Purandar. Now next topic is Firangoji Narsala. Shaista Khan then continued his march on Pune. First, he captured the fort of Chakan. Firangoji Narsala fought to defend the fort with great bravery and skill against the army of Shaista Khan. For 2 months he kept Shaista Khan at bay, but he was helpless against the guns of Shaista Khan. Shaista Khan was much impressed with the way Firangoji defended the fort and offered him service with the Mughal emperor. Firangoji, however, refused this tempting offer. Now, Shaista Khan in Lal Mahal. Shaista Khan came to Pune and made Lal Mahal Shivaji's residence, his headquarters. 1 year passed, then another year. Shaista Khan would not leave Pune. On the contrary, his troops would raid Shivaji's territory, destroy crops and take away the cattle. In this way, he started devastating the surrounding countryside. A blood plan. At last, Shivaji decided to teach Shaista Khan a lesson. In a way, it was good that Shaista Khan was staying in Lal Mahal. Shivaji knew the place inside out with all its entrances and exits, its secret passages, doors and windows. Besides, Shivaji's spies were keeping him well informed about the disposition of the Khan's troops. Shivaji therefore decided to enter Lal Mahal one night and kill Shaista Khan. This was indeed a very bold plan. Lal Mahal was so well guarded that even an ant would find it difficult to get through. 75,000 troops were camping outside the palace. No armed Maratha was allowed to enter the town, but Shivaji had made up his mind and there was none who could turn him away from his resolve. Shivaji fixed the date to carry out the plan. On the night of 5th April 1663, a marriage procession was passing along the streets of Pune. There was music and fireworks accompanied the procession. Hundreds of people dressed in fine clothes were in the procession. Some were in palanquins, others in menas, while many more were on foot. Shivaji, with his band of trusted followers, joined the procession to give the impression that they were a part of it. After some time, the procession proceeded on its way, but Shivaji and his men moved away quietly in the direction of Lal Mahal. Shaista Khan was fast asleep at this hour. Shaista Khan learned a lesson. Shivaji made a hole in the wall and entered Lal Mahal. He had no trouble in finding his way about because it was after his own house. The Khan's bodyguards were half asleep. Shivaji's followers tied them up. Shivaji went deeper inside. Suddenly, someone rushed at him with a sword. Shivaji killed him. He thought it was Shaista Khan, but it was his son. There was There was a commotion. People woke up. Shivaji went straight to the Khan's chambers and took out his sword. Terrified, the Khan started shouting, the devil," and tried to escape through the window. Shivaji struck him with the sword, which cut off 3 fingers of the Khan. The Khan could have lost his life, but he escaped with the loss of 3 fingers only. The Khan jumped out of the window and made for safety to deceive the Khan's troop. Shivaji and his men raised a cry, "Shivaji has attacked! Run, catch him!" and started to run themselves. The Khan's troops also started running in all directions. In the confusion that followed, Shivaji and his men made their escape and reached Srinagar. The Khan's troops spent the whole night looking in vain for Shivaji and his troops. This incident took the fight out of Shaista Khan. He was afraid that if he lost only his fingers in the first attack, Shivaji might cut his head off in the second. Aurangzeb was furious when he heard of this episode. Shaista Khan lost the emperor's favor and was transferred to Bengal. This was the first serious blow to the Mughal power. Shivaji had successfully bearded the lion in his own den. Gunfire announced the victory and a wave of joy went all over Maharashtra. Read this lesson. Thank you.